Going to start things off by talking about everybody's favorite topic, refereeing. Howard Webb did his mic'd up show with Michael Owen and had this to say about the Virgil van Dijk disallowed goal at the weekend.
That's quite a picture.
That's
of Howard
very
Webb.
picture. It's very James Bond-esque. It's no surprise that some people thought this goal should have stood. Only Donnarumma truly knows if he was impacted by this. The VAR determines that the decision is not clearly and obviously wrong, so stay out of it. The assistant referee talks about ducking below the ball, being close to the goalkeeper. That could be enough to penalize a player for being offside, even if the keeper can see the ball all the way along. That could still cause hesitation to the goalkeeper. All right, so let's bring in Don for this one. Don, what are your thoughts on this explanation?
I'll tell you what's wrong with it. All of that wording that was just read out by you there, Alexis. I mean, we were never that far away when handball was accidental or intentional. We were never that far away. How can an offside decision be all of a sudden, over the last 18 months now, be called subjective? You can have a subjective offside. Let's just make it black and white. If you're offside, you're offside. There's too much waffle. There's been so many incidents that have been put up on social media since that goal was disallowed. There's been so many because the word subjective just means it's going to be very inconsistent. It's just going to be how you read it, how you see it. It's a law that just doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. Let's just call it how it is, make it easier for fans, make it easier for referees to allow them to be more consistent. If you're standing in an offside position and someone has a shot and you're interfering with the goalkeeper, you should just be offside. Keep it simple, guys.
Jules, what do you think?
I think he was embarrassed by the decision and doesn't really know what to say. I think it's pretty clear from what he said on the show, the could and would and maybe not. It's not a mistake, but it could be a mistake. I can see why people say it's a mistake, but it might not be a mistake. And even himself confuses himself, I think, in this whole explanation. The fact is, Donnarumma sees the ball from the beginning to the end. Andrew Robertson, if he was there or not there, doesn't make any difference whatsoever to where the ball is going, what Donnarumma can do, what the City defense can do. There's no impact at all from what Robertson is doing, from where he's standing, as we see now on the footage. This is why it's such a big mistake, and Howard Webb knows it. He's just trying to defend his referees again, but even his own explanation is not that clear. And to be fair, not that convincing at all, I think.
Yeah, we got two intelligent minds there, Ale, and you are third intelligent mind. Make sense of this for me.
Well, here's where perhaps Howard Webb could have gone in the direction of saying, listen, if you have a player, in this case Andrew Robertson, that is better off by just standing still and not ducking, then maybe he has an argument in regards to whether he interfered Donnarumma or not. Mm-hmm. So basically, we're asking Andrew Robertson that if he just stands still and doesn't move, the ball doesn't hit him, and Donnarumma has seen it all the way through, then he's not offside. The moment he decided to duck, then that brings all of this discussion into play, and it also brings a loophole in which Howard Webb can get right inside that loophole, get really comfortable, cozy with a nice blanket and a cup of tea. It's like, see, in this loophole, nobody can get me. Yeah. Right in this moment, it's so warm here, it's so comfortable here. And so I can talk in circles all I want, and yet nobody can come and get me here because this, as Don just mentioned, is subjective.
Mm-hmm. It's all relative now.
It's up for interpretation. It's how the assistant referee and the referee himself, what they saw and how they interpreted. And according to their interpretation, if you actually go by the fact that Andrew Robertson thought that the ball was going to hit him, therefore he ducked, in him ducking, he's participating in the play, and then they come to what they consider to be the correct decision.
Don, what do you think the right call should have been then? Was it offside for you?
No, it can't be. I mean, Ali's just explained it there, but what Ali's sort of saying, and I know he's saying it in tongue-in-cheek about Andrew Robertson not ducking down, but that's what Howard Webb has not read into, because he's more or less saying, Andy Robertson, I've got no involvement here whatsoever, guys. I'm just going to duck down just to double prove I want no interest in this ball, right? So he can't be offside. He's not interfering with Donnarumma. The initial header from Van Dijk, Donnarumma actually thinks he's going to his right-hand side. So it got broke down on TV over here, where he actually took a step to his right-hand side, and then he has to try and rebalance and go with a high dive towards his left-hand side. So he was never, ever getting there. He didn't have an impact. Andrew Robertson didn't have an impact on where or what Donnarumma was doing. And like I said before, there's been a John Stones goal for Man City when Bernardo Silva was standing in front of a goalkeeper, and he actually half-barged the goalkeeper out of the way. I think it was against Wolves. There's been so many. There was a goal, I think, for Atletico Madrid, I think, against Liverpool. There was a goal a few years ago that Everton got chalked off, I think, at Goodison against Man United. We've just got to simplify the rules. It's like we've got too many rules, like not clear and obvious, subjective, and it's just a loophole, like the guys are saying, for the referees to have an out. We've got to clarify. We've got to make it really simple and just dumb it down for everyone. You know, make it easier for the referees and the linesmen to go, right, he is offside. Let's just put his flag up so everyone knows it. And the game after, they know it. All around, whatever, they know it. It's going to be offside. In the end, it's just a whole load of waffle. Like they got themselves in a right mess, like the handball law. And they're trying to dig a little bit, and they're trying to dig a little bit more. But anyone that knows anything about what Andy Robertson was doing was trying to have no impact whatsoever. That's why he ducked down.
Yeah, we're going to make it easy and simple for the peasants like myself in this one. All right. But one thing that's definitely not up for debate is the fact that Julian Nagelsmann has Florian Wirtz's back. We talked about this on the show yesterday because Nagelsmann had this to say about the Liverpool player. Someone could actually convert the chances Wirtz creates at Liverpool once in a while. That would be an idea. He doesn't create very few chances. They just seem to enjoy not putting them away. Well, he may be speaking some truth because if you have a look at the stats, and Don knows that stats do not lie, he has created 15 chances this season for Liverpool. Well, here's what Stevie had to say yesterday on the show about Wirtz's chances.
I've not missed a second of all Liverpool games this season.
Yeah.
And if he's created 15 chances, then I need to go and change my glasses. I'm sorry. This is totally and utterly just try to prop him up.
Well, Stevie might actually need to change his glasses.
But that's a different conversation.
But that's a different conversation. We're talking about Florian Wirtz and what Stevie had to say there. Don, I know you're a big fan of your stats and whatnot. We saw them there, but you're also probably the second biggest Florian Wirtz defender I think I have seen. We paid attention to your social media account. So what say you about this?
No, I think if you look at the bigger picture, Stevie 100% needs to go and get some new glasses because he's missed a lot of chances that Florian Wirtz hasn't been given by his teammates. You know, if you go back to the Man United game when Mo Salah had one on his right foot and he shanked one into the top end, there was a 5-yard pass to Florian Wirtz which would have had him a tap in. There's been a couple of occasions in Europe. There was a compilation that got put on X the other day and I retweeted it, and it was brilliant actually how many chances the other guys should have created for Florian Wirtz. And he has created a fair few. Don't get me wrong, he's been a little bit disappointing. I'm not here saying he's been brilliant. He's had 3 good games in my opinion. I thought he was fantastic against Aston Villa. I thought he was brilliant against Real Madrid. And he wasn't really that bad in a bad Liverpool performance against Man City. But the bigger picture is, his teammates could have put a lot more on a plate for him. He would not be sitting here with 0 assists and zero goals if the players around him had made better decisions.
Jules, who do you agree with, Don or Stevie?
No, I agree with Don. I think Stevie he needs new glasses. He's had those glasses for too long anyway.
He has.
So it's about time that he changes the glasses. Maybe the style as well. I agree with Don. There's one against Chelsea as well, like a backheel pass from Wirtz to Salah in that second half. That Salah has to score. Really, it's a goal that he scores. He's scored so many times in his career. So that's where I feel a bit. Of course, Wirtz still has a lot of work to do to integrate himself even better in this team and adapt better to the Premier League. But I do think that by now he should have had 2 or 3 assists in the Premier League, certainly from what we've seen him play, even being so far away in a way to his best level.
And whether you agree with Jules, Don, or Stevie, I think we miss the point if we don't actually address the fact that Julian Nagelsmann, all he is doing is this guy's with Germany right now. I need him to be at his best with us. This is all I care about. Whenever he leaves this camp of Germany and goes back to Liverpool, I wish him well, but whatever he does over there has no bearing as to what he does here. So I need him at his best here. So I'll find any sort of way to create an environment and a rhetoric that is far more positive surrounding the player. I need Florian Wirtz to be flowing, baby. I need Florian Wirtz to be flying.
Good man management.
I need him to be in this space, in that space. Come and get the ball here. Go get the ball over there. Go assist a goal there and go score yourself over there. That's what I need from him over the next 10 days. I don't care what happened before this or what happens after this. I need him at his best right now. And so therefore, look, this is all Liverpool's fault. All the other players, the guys that are not creating chances or the guys that he creates chances for, they're not scoring. None of it had to do with actually Florian Wirtz assuming some responsibility and saying, whether he has created enough chances or not, whether he should have scored or not, at this point, given the amount of appearances that he's had for Liverpool, there should be a goal, there should be an assist. He was brought in as an attacking player that should have an impact for this team, and he is among the issues, not the most important, but among the issues that Liverpool has had in the attack, that they haven't found a consistent performer. Not from Wirtz, not from anybody else for that matter.
Well, funny you should say that, because I was going to say, in Wirtz's defense, it's not like he's the only signing or new signing at Liverpool that is having some trouble. Just look at this graphic. I mean, Alexander Isak, so far, that was a big money signing. Only 1 goal and 1 assist so far. Hugo Ekitike has probably been the bright spark, but the big point is look at what Luis Diaz is doing at Bayern Munich. He's just absolutely outshining all 3 of their contributions combined. So, Don, looking back at this, Liverpool should have just stuck with Luis Diaz?
No, they couldn't, Alexis, because he was the one that wanted to make the move. He asked for the move the season before, and Liverpool asked him to stay on. And he did stay on for 1 more year, but he was the one that really pushed. I mean, when I read the news without knowing that he was the one that wanted the transfer and it was Gakpo or Diaz going to Bayern, I was going, well, please be Gakpo, because Luis Diaz was sensational last season with Liverpool in a position that he didn't really play in. Some of his best performances actually came as a false 9. I remember him down at Tottenham, I think, when they won 6-2 and he played as a false 9, and he was outstanding. So Arne Slot relied on him in the very big games to play that number 9, because he had a few strikers at the time like Darwin Núñez who couldn't hit the ground running, and he was very trustworthy being that false 9. But I think when you look at it, it's obviously a half mistake in letting him go, because he's a brilliant player and he's hit the ground running and he is so good and he's only going to get better. But unfortunately, it's one I think that Liverpool fans have to swallow, because the player actually asked for the move, not the other way around.
Jules, what do you think? Do you think Liverpool are going to live to regret letting him go, even if he was pushing the move?
No, I agree with Don. I think he wanted to move. Ideally, they would have kept him, of course, but he really wanted to move. The offer on the table from Bayern was a very good offer. And there's no point keeping a player who doesn't want to be there anyway. So I think they took the money. They also saw in Gakpo and Wirtz and different options on the left-hand side, Chiesa, Rio and Gomo as young players, things like that, to think, okay, we should be okay without Luis Diaz and all his talents. And it's a bit harsh to compare what Luis Diaz has done in this wonderful flying Bayern team compared to the Liverpool new signings in a team that is not working right now. But it's true that the impact that Luis Diaz has had on Bayern, nobody else amongst the Liverpool new recruits has had a similar impact, not even Ekitike.